The wind cut through the desert, kicking up dust that danced under the scorching sun. A hoarse voice echoed, "Isabela, the Queen of the Ring, has never lost." Quick scenes, gloves hitting sandbags, camera flashes, the roar of the crowd. But she looked down on the wrong opponent. Anna, thin, hungry-eyed, tied her wrists with worn bandages. A close-up, Anna's fierce gaze against Isabela's arrogant smile. Blows exchanged, sweat flying, a ring stained with blood. A fight that changed everything. The screen goes dark and a punch echoes. Are you ready for ring truth? Like the video and tell us which state you're watching from. I, Isabela, the undefeated Queen of the Ring, belittled Anna, the hungry girl, with a smile that said it all. She was nothing. The gym reeked of sweat and old rubber, the fluorescent lights flashing as if hesitating to illuminate that confrontation. The crowd roared my name, Isabela, as I adjusted my gloves, feeling the leather tighten my fingers. Anna, on the other side, was a squalid shadow, her bones almost popping out of her skin, her sunken eyes shining with something I couldn't decipher. "You don't belong here, girl," I murmured, more to myself as the announcer announced the fight. The coach, SCU Jorge, pulled me by the arm. "Don't underestimate it," I say. "This girl is really hungry." I rolled my eyes, adjusting the mouthguard. Hunger? I had won titles, faced giants, and here I was, against a nobody who barely seemed to be able to bear the weight of his own gloves. The crowd booed Anna, throwing crumpled cans on the ground. She didn't move, she just stared at me, her clenched fist shaking slightly. The bell rang and the ring vibrated beneath my feet. I moved forward with the confidence of someone who has won 100 times. My jab was quick, a lightning bolt, but Anna dodged, her thin body moving like a leaf in the wind. Beginner's luck, I thought, feeling the heat rise up my neck. Another punch and she blocked, her eyes fixed on mine, unblinking. There was something there, a flame that made me hesitate for a second. The crowd was screaming, but the sound seemed distant. Anna didn't attack, she just danced, dodging with a precision that irritated me. "Are you going to fight or run, girl?" I shouted, my voice echoing in the gym. She didn't answer, but her lips curled into a half smile, and it hit me harder than any punch. For the first time, I felt a chill down my spine as if the ring was no longer mine. When the round was over, I went back to the corner, my heart beating too fast. Mr. Jorge threw water in my face. "I told you so, I say. This girl is not here to play." I looked at Anna, sitting in the opposite corner, breathing heavily, but with her eyes still fixed on me. Who was she? And why, for the first time, did I feel that the next round would not be so simple? While the interval between rounds seemed eternal, my mind wandered. Who was this girl? Anna had no poster, no sponsors, no name. I, on the other hand, was Isabela Hurricane Mendez, magazine cover, commercial star. The gymnasium, with its peeling walls and broken chairs, wasn't my usual stage, but I needed this fight to maintain my ranking. Hannah, however, looked out of place, like a hungry wolf in a sheep pen. Flashbacks of her started popping into my head, things I heard backstage. They said that Anna came from the streets, that she grew up fighting for food in dark alleys. "She has no technique, but she has anger," someone whispered before the fight. Anger. I knew anger, but mine was polished, channeled into trophies. Hers felt raw, as if each punch was a matter of life and death. In the opposite corner, Anna drank water from a crumpled bottle, her fingers trembling as she held the beak. His coach, a thin man with scars on his face, spoke softly, pointing at me. What did he say? That I was weak? That she could bring me down? The thought made me grit my teeth. "You're going to fall, girl," I muttered, tightening my gloves. The bell rang again and the crowd erupted. I pushed harder, wanting to crush that shadow. My right hook hit the air, and Anna responded with a hook that grazed my cheek, hot as fire. The audience held their breath. She was fast, more than I expected. Her every dodge was a tease, every look a challenge. When the round was over, I was panting, sweat dripping like tears. Anna returned to the corner, her face red, but her eyes still burning. Mr. Jorge held my face. "You're fighting with the ego, I say. She's fighting to survive." His words echoed, and for the first time I felt the weight of the truth. Anna was not just an adversary. She was a mirror of what I once was, and that terrified me. The third round began with a roar from the crowd, but I could only hear the pulsing of my blood. Anna was no longer a shadow, she was a storm. I charged forward with a double jab, trying to regain control, but she blocked with her forearms, her bones hard as iron. "Come on, girl, show me what you've got," I shouted, more to convince me than to provoke her. She didn't answer, just moved forward, her feet light in the ring as if dancing with death. His first real punch came like thunder. A right hand to my rib that made me swallow the air. The pain exploded, hot and sharp, and for a second the gym spun. The crowd screamed, feeling the impact. "Is that all?" I teased, spitting the mouthguard to the side, but my voice trembled. Anna didn't smile, she didn't celebrate. He just stepped back, his eyes fixed, waiting. I attacked with fury, punches in sequence, wanting to erase that look. But she was a ghost, dodging, absorbing each blow with a resistance that made no sense. How could someone so fragile be so strong? My breathing was heavy, sweat burning in my eyes. "You're not going to knock me down?" I growled, but doubt was already creeping into me. In the corner, SU Jorge shouted, "Focus, I say. Use your head." But my head was on fire. Anna did not fight like the others. There was no vanity, no show. Her every move was calculated, desperate, as if the ring was her last chance. And I, the undefeated queen, began to feel the ground shake under my feet. The round ended in an unspoken draw. Neither of us fell, but I felt the weight of her every punch. As I returned to the corner, I saw Anna wiping the blood from her lip with the back of her hand. His eyes met mine, and there, for the first time, I saw something but anger. I saw hope. And that scared me more than any scam. The gym seemed smaller, the lights harder, the air heavier. My chest burned, not only from the struggle but from the wounded pride. I was Isabela, the invincible, and there I was, panting against a girl no one knew. Anna, with her wolf eyes, seemed to grow with each round. As I adjusted the gloves, I felt Mr. Jorge's gaze, heavy as a judgment. "You're fighting wrong, I say. It's inside your head." In the fourth round, I decided to put an end to it. I went all out, punches and bursts, wanting to crush that girl. But Anna was like water, flowing between my blows, responding with quick jabs that hit my face like whips. One of them grabbed my chin, and the world blinked for a moment. The crowd roared, torn between shock and excitement. "Isabela, wake up!" shouted SU Jorge, but I was already awake, furious. I attacked with an uppercut, feeling the impact reverberate on my arm. Anna staggered, and for a second I thought I had her. But she held on to the ropes, her body trembling, and returned to the center of the ring. "You're crazy," I muttered, almost in amazement. The exchange of blows became a blur. Every punch of mine was a declaration of war, each dodge of hers an answer. Sweat dripped in blood, and the ring looked like a battlefield. Anna did not speak, but her eyes cried out, "I will not fall." And I, for the first time, began to doubt myself. When the bell rang, I sat on the bench, my heart racing. Mr. Jorge threw a towel on my shoulder. "You're fighting yourself, I say. She's showing you who you forgot you were." I looked at Anna in the opposite corner, the coach wiping her face. She looked exhausted, but her eyes were still burning. And I knew, this was far from over. As the break gave me a second to breathe, memories hit me like fists. I was once like Anna, hungry, fighting in filthy gyms for a chance. I grew up in the suburbs where every day was a fight. But I won, I went up, I became the queen. Anna, with her thinness and her desperate eyes, was a mirror of what I had buried. And that infuriated me. By the fifth round, the crowd was frantic, sensing that something historic was happening. I advanced with a hook, but Anna blocked, responding with a right hand that hit my nose. Hot blood flowed, and the audience screamed. "You're bleeding, hurricane," someone scoffed. I swallowed my anger, but doubt grew. How was she still standing? "Isabela, focus." SU Jorge screamed, but my mind was on Anna. Who was she? Why did he fight like that? Each punch of hers seemed to carry a story that I didn't know. A jab hit my temple, and the world spun. I staggered, holding on to the ropes. The crowd was silent, as if holding their breath. Anna hesitated for the first time. His eyes met mine, and I saw a flash of something. Pity? No, it was deeper. It was as if she knew me, as if she knew my scars. "Finish me then," I growled, raising my fists. She didn't answer, just stepped back, waiting for my next move. The round ended, and I collapsed on the bench, my face burning, the blood staining the towel. Mr. Jorge held my chin, forcing me to look at him. "Do you see, Isa? She's not fighting for glory. He's fighting for his life." And for the first time, I understood that Anna was not just an adversary. She was my past, coming back to challenge me. The sixth round began with the gym on fire. The crowd, once mine, now divided screams between me and Anna. I was tired, my muscles screaming, the blood still dripping from my nose. But pride kept me standing. "You're not going to knock me down," I murmured, more to me than to her. Anna, on the other side, seemed tireless, her eyes shining with a determination that frightened me. I advanced with a hook, but Anna deflected it, responding with a hook that caught my rib. The pain exploded, stealing my breath. I staggered, and the crowd roared, smelling blood. "Finish her off, Anna," someone shouted, and the sound cut like a knife. Since when was I the prisoner? I gathered forces, attacking with a sequence of jabs. One hit his face and blood flew, staining the ring. But Anna did not fall. She rushed forward, her fists like hammers hitting my shoulder, my chest, my head. Each blow was a silent scream, a story I didn't understand. "Why don't you fall?" I shouted, my voice hoarse. She didn't answer, she just kept going, her movements precise, her breathing heavy but controlled. In the last second of the round, his right hand hit my chin, and the world darkened for an instant. The ropes held me and the bell saved my life. The crowd was standing, screaming as I staggered into the corner. Mr. Jorge threw water on my face, his eyes full of concern. "You're losing, I say. Not by technique but by soul." I looked at Anna in the opposite corner, wiping the blood with a torn towel. She didn't celebrate, she didn't provoke. He just stared at me as if he knew the next round would be the end. The seventh round brought an eerie silence. The crowd seemed to hold their breath, feeling that fate was being written. My body ached, every muscle screaming, but my mind was clear. Anna was not just a fighter. It was an echo of what I once was, and I needed to face it not only for myself but for everything I built. I moved forward carefully, fists high, studying her every move. Anna was fast, but now I saw the patterns. His jabs came at odd angles, his hooks always after a dodge. I landed a hook on her shoulder and she backed off, her face contorted with pain. "Yes, I say," shouted SEU Jorge, but I didn't feel victory. I was afraid. Anna counterattacked, an uppercut that grazed her. The air hissed and my heart raced. "What are you fighting for, girl?" I asked, my voice low, almost lost in the noise. For the first time she spoke, her voice hoarse, almost a whisper, "Because that's all I have." His words hit me harder than any punch. The round became a survival dance. Every punch I punched was heavy, every dodge of her was desperate. The ring was stained with sweat and blood, the air dense with the heat of the fight. When the bell rang, we were both standing, panting, staring at each other as if the world had stopped. In the corner, SEU Jorge held my shoulders. "Did you see Isa? She's fighting for more than you. But you still have a chance. Remember who you are." I looked at Anna in the opposite corner, the coach talking quietly, her eyes fixed on the floor. For the first time I felt respect. And that changed everything. Anna's words echoed in my head as the eighth round began. "Because that's all I have." I had titles, sponsors, a comfortable life. What did she have? Nothing but anger and hope. The gym felt stifling, the lights burning my skin. The crowd was screaming, but I could only hear the beating of my heart. I charged forward with a jab, trying to regain control. Anna blocked, responding with a hook that hit my flank. The pain made me bend, but I remained standing, my teeth clenched. "You won't break me," I growled, but my voice trembled. She didn't answer, just kept going, her fists tireless, her eyes shining with something I was beginning to understand. Each punch of hers was a story. Each dodge, a cry for survival. I was the queen, but she was the warrior. I landed a right hand in her face and the blood flowed, but she didn't fall. Instead, it moved forward, an uppercut that caught my chin. The gym spun around, and for a second I thought it was the end. The ropes saved me and the crowd exploded. "Anna! Anna!" they shouted, and the sound was a slap in the face. I, Isabela, the invincible, was losing to a hungry girl. SEU Jorge shouted from the corner, but I didn't hear. I could only see Anna standing, breathing heavily, the blood dripping into the ring. When the round was over, I collapsed on the bench, my body shaking. Mr. Jorge held my face. "Are you fighting her or yourself, Isa?" I looked at Anna in the opposite corner, my eyes fixed on me. And for the first time I saw not an adversary, but a truth that I didn't want to face. The ninth round started with the gym in a fever. The crowd smelled the blood, the imminent defeat. I was exhausted, my body heavy, my mind clouded. Anna, on the other side, seemed more alive than ever, her eyes shining with a force that intimidated me. "You're not going to bring me down?" I muttered, more of a promise than a threat. I advanced with a hook, but Anna dodged, responding with a jab that hit my forehead. The impact echoed and sweat flew mixed with blood. I staggered, but I struck again, a desperate hook that caught his shoulder. She recoiled, but her eyes did not waver. "Why don't you fall?" I shouted, my voice breaking. She charged forward, her fists like lightning. A right hand hit my chest, stealing my air. Another took my cheek and the world blinked. The crowd roared and I felt the ring shake beneath my feet. "Finish her off, Anna," someone shouted, and the sound cut through me like a blade. I was the queen, but the throne was slipping. In the last second of the round, I landed an uppercut that made Anna stagger. The audience held their breath, waiting for her to fall. But she held on to the ropes, her body trembling, and returned to the center of the ring. Her eyes met mine, and there I saw something new, pure determination, as if she knew she could win. The bell rang and I collapsed in the corner, my chest burning. Mr. Jorge threw a towel on my shoulder. "You're fighting with fear, Isa. She has nothing to lose. What about you?" I looked at Anna in the opposite corner, wiping the blood with a trembling hand. And I knew that the next round would be the hardest of my life. The 10th round began with a dead silence. The crowd knew we were on the edge. My body screamed, every muscle begging for rest, but my pride kept me standing. Anna, on the other side, looked exhausted, but her eyes still burned, as if the fight was her last chance to prove something. I charged forward with a jab, trying to regain the rhythm. Anna blocked, responding with a hook that hit my rib. The pain exploded, and for a second my knees weakened. "You're not going to knock me down?" I growled, but my voice was weak, almost a whisper. She didn't answer, she just kept going, her fists tireless, each punch a declaration of war. A right hand from her hit my chin, and the world spun. I staggered, the ropes holding me. The crowd was screaming, but the sound was distant, as if I were submerged. "Isabela, get up!" shouted Su Jorge, but my vision was blurry. Anna hesitated, her fist still raised, her eyes fixed on me. Why didn't she finish? I mustered what was left of strength and attacked, a hook that caught his face. The blood flew and she retreated, but she did not fall. Instead he moved forward, an uppercut that hit my stomach. The air cleared and I fell to my knees, the cold ring against my skin. The crowd was silent, shocked. The referee started the count, but I could barely hear it. I looked at Anna, standing, breathing heavily, her face covered in blood and sweat. His eyes met mine, and there I saw something I didn't expect: respect. The bell rang, saving me from the count. But deep down I knew I was losing. As I crawled into the corner, the world seemed to fall apart. My reign, my invincibility, everything was in pieces. Mr. Jorge threw water on my face, his eyes full of concern. "You're still in the game, Isa. But you need to remember why you started." I looked at Anna in the opposite corner, the coach talking quietly, her eyes fixed on the floor. Who was she after all? In the 11th round I fought with something other than pride. I fought for the girl I was, the one who rose from the alleys to the spotlight. I charged forward with a jab, landing Anna's shoulder. She responded with a right hand, but this time I blocked, feeling her strength reverberate on my arm. "You're a good girl," I muttered, almost unintentionally. Anna hesitated, as if my words had caught her off guard. "You too," she replied, her voice low, barely audible. It was the first time we exchanged anything other than punches. The round became a dance, each punch of ours loaded with respect, each dodge a recognition. The crowd felt it, the air heavy with expectation. In the middle of the round, Anna spoke again, between one jab and another. "I saw you fight when I was a kid. You were my hero." His words hit me like a punch. She wasn't there to destroy me. He was there to prove that he could be like me. And that changed everything. The bell rang and we returned to the corners, panting. Mr. Jorge held my face. "Did you hear it, Isa? She's fighting for a dream. What about you?" I looked at Anna, wiping the blood from her face, her eyes shining with something I recognized: hope. And for the first time I felt that I was not fighting her but with myself. The 12th round began with the gym in silence. The crowd knew it was the end. My body was on the edge, every movement an agony. Anna, on the other side, looked as exhausted as I was, but her eyes still burned, as if the struggle was all that was left of her. "Let's get this over with," I murmured, raising my fists. I advanced with a hook, hitting her shoulder. Anna responded with a jab, quick and precise, which caught my cheek. The blood flowed hot, but I didn't back down. Each punch of ours was a story, each block a confession. The ring was stained, the air dense with sweat and tension. "Isabela, finish," shouted Mr. Jorge, but I didn't want to finish. Not like that. Anna advanced, an uppercut that grazed her. "You're strong," she said, her voice hoarse, almost broken. "But I need it." His words hit me, and for a second I hesitated. She needed it. And me? The round turned into a blur of punches and dodges, the crowd roaring, time seeming to stand still. At the last second I landed a right hand in Anna's face and she staggered but didn't fall. The bell rang and the gymnasium exploded, standing, screaming our names. We stared at each other, panting, bleeding but standing. In the corner, Su Jorge held my shoulders. "You gave everything, Isa. Now it's up to the judges." I looked at Anna in the opposite corner, the coach wiping her face. She looked back at me and for the first time we smiled. We were no longer enemies. We were something bigger. The gymnasium fell silent as the judges conferred. My heart was beating so loudly that it seemed to echo on the walls. Anna, in the opposite corner, held the coach's hand, her eyes fixed on the ground as if praying. I was the queen, but for the first time, I didn't know if I wanted the title. Not after what I saw in her eyes. The announcer took the microphone and the crowd held its breath. By unanimous decision, the winner, Ana Loba Silva. The gym exploded, half in shock, half in ecstasy. My chest tightened, but it wasn't anger. It was something I hadn't felt in years, pride. Not from me but from her. Ana raised her fists, her face covered in blood and tears. The crowd was screaming her name and I saw for the first time, a real smile on her. I walked over to her, the ring looking bigger than ever. "You deserved it, girl," she said, extending her hand. She hesitated, then squeezed my hand, her eyes shining. "Thank you, Isabela. For everything." As I left the ring, the crowd still screaming, SU Jorge put his hand on my shoulder. "You lost the title, Isa. But it gained something bigger." I looked back, seeing and being lifted up by the coach's shoulders, the crowd cheering the new queen. And I knew he was right. Days later, he learned the truth. Ana struggled to pay for her mother's treatment, her only family. Her every punch was for love, every dodge for hope. I lost the fight, but I found my soul. And as I prepared for the next one, I knew I would never look down on a hungry girl again. Because in the ring, the real strength comes from within.